Hi, I'm Shauna Lampi-Legaree, and I'm so pleased you're here today. This week's video is all about black. To mix or not to mix? That is the question. Today, we'll be exploring how to make blacks using complementary color combinations. I have 3 options to share with you. I also invite you to stay to the end of the video when I share with you the colors that Robert Bateman uses to create black. In 2019, I took a master class with him, and he just sort of throws out the information, you write it down, and I have never mixed it until now. I've put some links in below for both my blog, where you can go and see a picture of me and Robert Bateman together, and for a newsletter link as well. Please consider subscribing, leave a comment, and like the video. Grab your paint tools and let's get going. Mixing blacks using complementary colors. In the very first screen, we see that it's blue and orange. I'm going to start with the ultramarine blue, and I'm going to put in 2 blobs because I'm going to use 2 different oranges to help me make the blacks. The first orange I'm going to use, and you can see the line directly down towards the center, is burnt umber. It is a very low chroma orange. It looks brown, but actually it's a low chroma orange. Its value is value 2, and the ultramarine is value 1. I can't use cadmium orange because it's a value 8. It's just far too light, and I would get a light gray, not a black. You need to start with very dark value paints to be able to get to black. And I'm just going to work away at it, and what I'll do is bring in a little bit of white because you can't see if it's turning out the way you want it, if it's too blue or if it's too brown. And it turned out quite perfect. Now we're going to do the blue-orange, but with burnt sienna. Burnt sienna is far more chromatic than the burnt umber is. You can see the difference. You can see how much oranger it is, but it still has a value of 3, and it is quite low chroma compared to cadmium orange. It makes a beautiful, beautiful gray. Add some white. See that it's a little bit too blue. Clean off my palette knife so I don't end up with white in it. Add some more burnt sienna. And then check it out again with some white and see what we think of that. And it's perfect. It's a lovely gray. So very quickly we get to lovely grays on these ones. We're going to bring our sheet over. We're going to put our ultramarine blue and our burnt umber. Then the beautiful black that we created, and the gray so that we can see that it's neither too blue or too brown. And it's easy to manipulate and change to more blue if you want it. So burnt sienna is the other low chroma orange. The beautiful dark gray black that we get, it's not quite as dark as the burnt umber and ultramarine blue, and the beautiful gray. Our next color combination is red-green. Alizarin crimson hue is what I'm working with, has 2 pigments in it. And so I placed it where I felt it would land on this pigment color wheel. And I put arrows from the 2 pigments to where I thought it would land. Here is the alizarin crimson and the phthalo green blue shade. So you can see how transparent these colors are. That is a really interesting property on these, is how transparent they are. And they make such a beautiful black. I use this combination in my watercolor painting. It's very staining, so once it gets on there, it ain't coming off, but it would make a perfect black. Oh, too green yet. Add some more of the alizarin crimson hue, and there we go. We have this glorious black. We're going to add some white into it. Probably still a little bit green, but that's all right. We can add some more red if we wanted to, but it's fine for this demonstration. So let's put it on our chart. Alizarin Crimson Permanent and Phthalo Green Blue. The reason I chose those two is because they both have blue in them and they're leaning towards each other. I put a link down below for lesson 7 of my Acrylic Painting 101 Basics for Beginners so that you can go and check out about understanding biases, which will help explain why I chose the particular red and the particular green that I chose to make the black for this lesson. Yellow purple. We are going to work with dioxazine purple, and the yellow that I'm going to use is a raw umber. You can see when you look down the arrow, the raw umber is almost right to the center, and it's right on that same line. So raw umber is a low chroma yellow. Now I add raw umber, and I'm going to mix in the dioxazine purple. The purple. I'm going to mix in the purple. And I'm going to add white. And you know, I ran into a really interesting challenge here. The other 3 combinations absolutely were even keel, and they had obviously enough of each of the colors in it to bring you right to a black and get to a beautiful gray. No matter how much I added of the raw umber to the purple, it just would not get to gray at all. It's just not able to do that. And that tells me that there's not enough blue in this mixture. That one color is underrepresented, and I think it's that blue. If I put a blue in, I bet you I could have got to a beautiful gray. So it wasn't successful. I wouldn't recommend that particular combination. The bonus black mixture is Robert Bateman's color mixtures. And this is the first time I've actually mixed it. I took his class in 2019, a master class, when he was on the cusp of turning 89. And he mentioned Payne's Gray and Yellow Ochre are the colors he puts together to make his blacks. And he doesn't use blacks. He prefers value 3 and slightly into value 2. I'm mixing this and I am so surprised that it actually works. But you know, the man has been painting for 70 some years. Now I'm adding a little bit more yellow so I can see what that looks like. I have a link below for my blog post that goes with this video, and if you sneak down to the very bottom, you will see a photo of Bob and I together. It was an amazing week. I'm going to put it onto the chart here. Here we go, a Robert Bateman mixture. Move it up a little higher so you can see it. Yellow ochre. And Payne's Gray, which is a very low chroma blue. And here's the black that we mixed with it. And it turned out to be a beautiful color. And this is Robert Bateman's go-to color. He actually shared kind of how he makes his Bateman blue and his Bateman green that you can really see in his work. And this was another color mixture he just said very quickly, this is how I do it. So now I put in more yellow. Add some more white. See what we get there, and add it onto the chart. So thanks for staying near to the end so you could see the Robert Bateman mixture. I had such an amazing time at his class. It was so mind-bending. It was absolutely fabulous. So here we have 4 options that were successful: burnt umber and ultramarine blue, beautiful gray, and we have burnt sienna and ultramarine blue, and a beautiful gray and black out of it. So that's our blue-orange, or our red-green is alizarin crimson permanent and phthalo green blue, which are transparent and very chromatic. It's a very staining color. And a beautiful gray, still a little green. I could probably put a little bit more red into it to get it to that permanent gray. And here was the one that was not successful because it seemed to lack enough blue in it. The dioxazine purple and raw umber combination. I couldn't get it to gray. So the other three were successful, no problems, but that particular one did not have enough blue, and that made it so it was imbalanced. The yellow ochre Payne's Gray of Robert Bateman mixture turned out to be a surprising hit and got some beautiful gray colors out of it. Well, thank you very much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Wasn't it a surprise that the two colors that Robert Bateman used and how well it turned out? Very cool. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next art video.